the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. As we look at what's happening with the Nasdaq on the day, the same trend has basically continued. We're still sitting in our overall little bit of a flag here, consolidating on the daily, clearly to the downside. That's where we're at. We look at ES, we go into this S&P futures. You look amazing. You're breaking back into all-time highs. And my question, there's nothing to be worried here. You're literally at all-time highs. Basically, trying to break out, you look good. You lean over into Dow, and you have that continuation also pushing back into all-time highs. Now, I'm going to tell you throughout this video that there are major signals that remind me of the beginning of this year, why I believe tech might be absolutely ready to explode. But what I will say, the biggest thing going into tomorrow, the rest of the weekend, and into next week, PCE. Good Friday PCE data brings in crucial inflation reading. Again, this is the biggest thing to understand, that PCE is the biggest factor when it goes to inflation data and what is directly affecting this market and when we're going to get continuation. The Fed has been very clear about this. PCE, PCE, PCE. It's the most important metric when it comes to that data that's coming out. Now, today we did have GDP. And again, we're seeing good overall data from that. GDP shows continued growth in the overall market, which is kind of what we expected. Now, when we look at broad markets, the only thing that really got love was, again, Dow. And then what? Of course, ES. They both started pushing back into all-time highs. Nasdaq, on the other hand, is still sitting sideways. But why does this remind me of what's happened back in early, January? Very similar actions would take place back there. We saw tech overall on the decline, and then we saw Nasdaq ES on the upside. And that's what we're kind of looking at right now. But what happened shortly after that? We saw tech explode. We saw Bitcoin risk on metrics explode. And this is where things get even crazier. We go to IWM, and look what happened here. IWM coming into our key level, 212.2. Again, you're seeing every metric of risk on be established into the market. Risk, risk, risk. More money coming into every part of the market, signaling for more upside. And that's when I look at this, I look at the idea of it's highly likely we get some continuation. Going into SPY, again, SPY made new all-time highs here on the day, worth mentioning, okay? Again, you're going to see the same overall pattern. It's happening, right? The only thing that isn't making new highs yet is what? It's the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, you had the failed breakout yesterday. You hit target 1, but you can never go into target 2. You started breaking back. So again, I still believe the Nasdaq looks very impressive here. Very, very, very impressive as you look here. Worth mentioning. When this breaks out, I think tech overall will be hot, semiconductors, everything like that, Bitcoin as well, something you have to be looking at, right? So those are things you have to be paying attention to. If you don't believe what's happening here is abnormal, then just look at the volume. It's your biggest tool you can look at. 20 minutes left in the day, but yeah. And by the way, I couldn't be live yesterday. My wife, we're getting married, but also too, she's pregnant, so we had to go to the doctor. It was a whole thing. So I was just busy for the rest of the day. But volume still very, very stagnant and doing really nothing. We had a surge of volume yesterday at the very end of the market, worth mentioning, when you bounced at the very end of the day. So again, when you look at a bulk of the volume that's coming into the market, like the 15-minute chart, there's nothing happening all day long. And then end of the day, massive surge, and then that's it. And then the next day, nothing happens, bit of a surge into the day, that's it. And so we've seen this trend happen. And so this is very abnormal, not your basic action, and this is definitely indicative of a short week overall. That's why I'm looking at this. That's what I'm paying attention to. Again, what I'm focused on, what I'm looking at. So I do still believe upside is highly likely based on where we're at. Now, I do think PC data will be key. I'll cover that tomorrow or maybe on the weekend, but these are all the things I'm looking at. And still see QQQ volume is very minimal. So what does this tell me? That sellers have the opportunity to push you down here, but sellers are not stepping in. Sellers are not getting aggressive. You are just chopping. You are just sitting, waiting for the breakout now. Now, as we go into DXY, as we go into the rest of the market, and we look at some of these other signals for risk on versus risk off, DXY, again, you're going just like completely opposite to where everything else is moving, right? You're getting no clear structure, and that's the problem here. Now, DXY is pushing up a little bit higher, but then we go to the 30-year yield, and we look at what's happening here. Again, still kind of tracking to the downside. No direct correlation. You're below your key level, pushing down. It just doesn't give you any signs of strength in either direction overall. Why, again, I continue to say, be patient, wait for this action to subside. But there are major stocks right now that have massive opportunity. Okay, we're going to be covering that here in a second. But again, going into next week as well, I'll cover this a little bit more. But again, tomorrow morning, an hour before, well, it's not even an hour before market open. It's just an hour before market usually opens, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. You have PCE. This will be huge. This could affect, Bitcoin and things like that. So make sure you're keeping your head on a swivel. Now, Going back into that data, if you're interested in where I get this data from, everything like that, the link is down below for Edgeful, because this data really helps you out and really paints a picture of what's happening every single day. So when we look at what's happening here with Edgeful, you can see that Monday into Friday, volume usually trends to the upside. We are not doing that. We are stagnating. We are chopping. It's terrible. Terrible action. Now we also look at what comes in on price action. We look at what happens on green and red days. Now, typically Mondays are one of our best days. It was red this week. Thursday is typically one of our best days. It's going to end up being slightly green, but nothing incredible, right? Worth mentioning. Thursdays have been probably our best day overall, and this hypothetically could still end up being red because you're only, green by 80 cents. So again, one of our worst Thursdays that we've had, which is typically our strongest day of the week, especially when it comes to pickup of overall volume. So again, when I look at all these signals, I'm just like, this is kind of terrible, right? High and low close of week. Fridays are typically our highest close. We're not going to have a Friday, so Thursday, next highest up. So again, makes sense, but we're not getting our highest close. Again, worth mentioning, not the greatest action. What I'm watching for right now, though, pay very close attention. The craziest thing, though, about all this is what I will say, and is what's happening with Dow and how it's kind of just dominating. And this has been the going theme, and I've said in a lot of my videos, if Dow continues to carry, and like when Dow gets continuation, it's been good for the broad market. Now, granted, I don't follow Dow alone to get direction of the entire market, but I do believe Dow has given us some good entry signals for Nasdaq and ES for continuation. And Dow's just been going crazy over the past 3 days, which is a really good sign. But the one thing that I'll say out here is watch our levels that we have. So for NQ specifically, I want to see a mount above 18.5 and then pushing into 18.628. Above 18.628, you're going to go crazy in all-time highs. Now, also, too, if you're seeing our indicators on our screen for the levels that we have marked out, everything like that, the link for that is down below. It's Lux Algo. You'll get our discount as well. And you also get our volume custom script there also. So make sure you tap in. If you have questions, comment down below. I'd love to answer those. But that's where you're at. So make sure you take a screenshot of all of our levels. And then we also, just to let you know, have our newsletter this weekend. It will be coming out on Sunday. So make sure you're tapped into that as well. All of our levels, what we're looking for, everything in between. So you are ready. Our favorite stocks, every level mentioned there in the newsletter. You know what's happening here with the economic calendar, what's happening with the earnings calendar, everything like that. Some YouTube videos, things like that. No, we're not selling you anything. It's all absolutely free. So make sure you tap in there as well. So that's what we're looking at here on Nasdaq. Again, end of the day, you're seeing rejection, not a surprise. But broad market stocks, what are we liking? This is why you came to the video, to see what stocks I want to buy, what stocks I am buying, and everything in between. Now, I have gone over a lot of this stuff. I have done this quite a bit, right? I have mentioned a lot of these names a lot. Number one, I'm going to go over Robinhood. Robinhood had one of their best. They released some crazy stuff for their platform. So again, I think Robinhood, you might stagnate, you might get a pullback. I think this is one of the best buying opportunities for myself personally. I go to the weekly chart, I zoom out, I look here, I see no liquidity at all, nothing till $33. There is no liquidity here. If you start getting love, if you start moving up, you will start moving quick. I'm telling you right now, I love Robinhood. And also to let you know, give you a little bit of a cheat, tell you a little bit about what I'm in. I like dated positions, 2025 January's, 2026 January's. They're very cheap, low risk, makes sense for me. That's what I'm doing. Do what you got to do. That's what I'm watching for there. Next up, Target. I have been saying Target. Now, you are coming into a little bit of a resistance. Now, what the level you have to watch for is right here. Your 200 weekly moving average. Is that your weekly or your daily? Yeah, your weekly, right? Coming into that. Again, you're breaking over it and you're mounting. Now, your next level you're going to hit, and you're probably going to hit this sometime next week early, 181. I am telling you right now, if Target breaks above 181, mark my words. Again, follow me on Twitter if you're not already. Giving you a heads up, free content every day. Charts, I am telling you, Target posted it there as well. This thing is going to explode if you get over 182, 181. You are going past 200 in my, it's going to explode. I'm going to keep it very simple. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I love it. I've been saying Target. I've been saying it way down since 140. Set it at 168. Do what you got to do. Love it. Killing it. Great candle on the weekly. One of the strongest names overall in the market. Yeah, only down, like it possibly down name that I'm kind of exposed to. It wouldn't be considered necessarily Dow, but it definitely gets affected with some of the names that are in the Dow. So worth considering, worth watching. XLY as well. Amazon. Another big name. Guys, I'm telling you, this is why I'm saying this. You go to down, you look at ES, monster setups there. Nasdaq not moving. Again, I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm trying to be level-headed. This thing wants to erupt as well. An ascending triangle on the daily, higher lows. I'm actually like literally posting this in Discord as I make this video. Dear God, Amazon wants to actually erupt. This thing is crazy. So I'm telling you, 185, 186 is a target. Easy. That's what I'm looking for there. Breakout. Be on the lookout for that. Google. Be watching Google. I'm waiting patiently for the mount. I might miss my entry. I don't know. Another ascending triangle on the 4-hour. You had that news with Apple. I think they're going to just continue to release news, just to let you know. But above 150.15, it's a long into all-time highs in price discovery. Do what you got to do. But yeah, absolute beast. Keep it on your watch list. Now, some of you might be mad that I'm not going over all your favorite names, but again, Coinbase, one of my favorites, the cup and handle that's playing out here. You look incredible, taking a little bit of its sweet time to break out. But I do believe Coinbase wants to run as well, 294 and then upwards of 300 with ease. Those are your next levels. Keep those on your radar as well. NVIDIA, you're kind of not doing anything. This will be mentioned in the newsletter, so most likely. So keep it on your watch list and just wait for Sunday. But yeah, you're kind of bear flagging here on the 4-hour. I'm not super interested, just waiting right now. Can't get crazy here. Too much risk. Netflix, you broke down below 615, came to 605. Under 605, you're very weak, so be watching close. Microsoft just stagnating. Honest to God, I'm looking at Microsoft with the mentality of grabbing dated contracts because I do believe Microsoft is going to run. It's just you're so volatile and you're moving back. You're just not following the straight trend, which I don't love. That's the only reason why I'm not in Microsoft. I love the upside. It's just you're just moving sporadically and it hasn't been a clean structure. So I have taken a bit of a step back / slow down here. Okay. Personal opinion. Do what you got to do with that. That's what I'm doing there. Bitcoin and some of these cryptos, those are my favorite stocks. So again, some of you are going to be mad. I'll cover more stocks this weekend. Bitcoin, you're mounting our level of 69.2. You got back down, mounted it again. Tough, bull flag breakout, tough. Now, the other level I'm watching, and I've been trying to find the next levels up here. I just don't like any of these levels. Like maybe you can consider 72.4, but I'm watching this level right here. Your high here when you broke down 70,500 right there. And you're mounting that today as well. Good behavior, what you want to see. Again, the only names that I like as far as cryptos that I'm buying, things like that, I'm going to let you know. Solana, I love it. 186 still, love it. I was buying it near 180, 175. I bought it before that as well. But yeah, you had your pennant, you broke out, you're consolidating, you look really good. I like Solana long term. AVAX, USD as well. Those are my two favorites. I'm going to let you know you're riding higher lows. You look good. Nice little pennant. Reminds you a little bit of Solana. I like AVAX. I think these both can go crazy. Those are my biggest holdings to let you know. If you have questions, comment down below. Those are my favorite stocks, cryptos, everything I'm looking at in the market. I'll have an update for you on PCE. That's going to be really big tomorrow. So make sure you're watching out. Have a good Easter weekend. Enjoy your family. Be safe. Have a good one, guys. And I appreciate you. See you next time.